We've made 8 episodes.
We've made 8 episodes. Actually, technically, we made more because we had too many episodes too.
Spiritual delusion versus intuition. All right.
Hades, I need you to figure it out.
Meow.
Ready? Hades, you ready? I need you to figure out if you're going to stay in here or not. Because if you're going to start meowing, like right now, literally, that's what's going to happen as soon as we start. All right. Welcome to Airheads
And friends.
Hi, welcome back, everyone. We're the Airheads and friends. This is now technically episode 8, but I mean, we've had so many episodes. We were just talking about this, and I can't believe that we're already 8 episodes in. Okay. All right. Episode 8. We are going to be talking about spiritual delusion versus intuition. Am I crazy or is this real? Because I feel like often we even find ourselves going like, am I missing some meds? Are we doing good? Do I need to check in? Like, but I really do want to focus in this episode about helping you guys learn the difference between intuition and anxiety driven kind of thinking, because I feel like a lot of the times, especially in stressful times like we're experiencing right now in the world, a lot of it can kind of get muddled and a lot of it can get very loud in a lot of ways. And we kind of touched a little bit on that on the empaths in a loud world, where a lot of ways to ground and keep yourself centered and stuff is featured in that. So if you want to look at that or listen to that, I think that's episode 3. Don't get me lying though. But anyway, what I really want to talk about is the line between intuition and delusion, because not everything is a sign, and kind of, I feel like that's where people start spiraling and you kind of see spiritual psychosis kind of show up, is when you let more of your delusions run rampant than like, hey, let's think, where am I looking for this as like a sign? Am I talking this up in myself, or is this like something that's actually like happening? And I feel like a big difference between um Delulu and actual intuition is that absolute certainty. And I feel like sometimes that can kind of get confusing too, because when you're going through spiritual psychosis, it can feel like certainty. But I feel like if you have at least one person who you can temperature check with, and just be like, hey, how do I look? Are my eyes okay? Do I look okay? Do I sound okay? Am I jumping off the deep end on this one? I feel like, even if that person isn't somebody that you see all the time or anything like that, you just try to find somebody who can do a good temperature check with you, is what I like to say. But I feel
right
like,
people.
yeah,
Like, don't find the people that also live in the delusion with you.
yeah, and
Or
I feel like
maybe delusion.
I feel like that's so hard because how many times do we actually really want to hear
Validation, but
validation, and that's all we ever want, but at the same time sometimes that works against you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you have too many yes people in your life, it can really build you up for kind of like a delusion and
huge fall too.
like a grandeur kind of like mentality. You know what I'm saying?
The best
No,
motto.
Hades. Move. No, get down.
This is not a delusion.
Get Hades. Hades. Come here. Move. Thank you. So anyway, I feel like we're all guilty of this though, looking for the angel numbers and everything and everywhere.
I had it really bad with
like
1111. Before I started my craft, I was like 1111, 1111, 1111.
Mine is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1111, but 1111 is also like my anniversary, so it's like, I feel like
you gotta look for the logical before the mystical. Like,
Also,
look around.
I feel like TikTok is really bad about feeding that too. 'Cause
They are.
once the algorithm locks in on
too.
something you've
You
watched
like a
for
video
2 more
about a
seconds
good
than you should
Or you
relationship,
buy one thing.
and then the tarot people come and they're like, "You're gonna have a good relationship," and I'm like,
Oh my
"Is it?"
God. Yes. Yes. And that's the other thing I feel like a lot of people kind of get lost in the sauce with, is you get people in spiritual communities who prey on people who are vulnerable.
Very true.
Yes.
And they prey on people who are looking for that. I feel like it's where you really get into cult mentality in a
Exactly.
lot
Oh,
of
yeah,
ways. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Like,
the amount of transfer I've seen from, being in a Christian atmosphere, other religions to that, there can be manipulation across any border,
yeah.
religion, spirituality.
Which is horrible. I just
when you
hate
really
that.
think about that, it's just
Because-
like,
Yeah.
Well,
This is
most
supposed to
people
be
are
a
looking
precious
for
thing,
religion
you
in
know?
vulnerable moments. So it's like, yeah, no, it's
But 100%.
I also think like it's when you're looking for things. If you're so caught up in that moment, like you get a new car. Now all of a
Yeah.
sudden you're saying all
I
this.
saw 333 times and now I have to quit my job. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
I've seen it before.
you've got to think about things. And sometimes, I feel like when you see signs and they're truly signs, there is something in the
yes,
pit
in the
of my
gut.
stomach.
Yes.
And I feel like that's so like overused. Be like, it's just in your tummy, but it really is because you think about all of your like chakras. You think about all of where your energy is stored and stuff like that, and especially here. And I feel like, especially as women, this is a very like this whole area is
The
just
sacral?
sacred.
Exactly.
yes.
The sacral and your
100%.
stomach. I mean, absolutely.
And whether you're a mother or not, you have something that men will just never experience, period. I mean, I'm not saying men can't have intuition and stuff too, but I'm saying like
experience things
it's
differently.
different.
Even
And I feel
down
like
to
it's more of a
community and the way we
divine. And
connect.
yeah.
It's human nature.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And I feel like it's especially in our community, I feel like we see it a lot with a lot of people who may have tiptoed into the little bit of Delulu area. But I mean, I like to think that even if you do find yourself in that moment, like, and you're like, oh, I may have drank too much Kool-Aid, like, give yourself some grace because like a lot of the times when we find ourselves like in vulnerable places and in moments where we're like, uh-oh, I'm being preyed upon right now. Um, it's okay. Like honestly, it's
the
so
natural
human of you,
response is to double down, to be like, oh no, there's no way I believe in something that could
Oh,
be
well, I mean, is it
so
about the politics?
unkind.
Yeah, I was like, it's
Yeah.
it's almost in the political nature, it's almost in the spiritual nature, and it's everywhere right now, where
You can always
there's never
back
a
up
too
and
late
try
moment.
again
Oh my God,
until
yes.
there is. Literally, there
Yes.
never is. If you walk into that room and you're like, no, this is not safe or good for my well-being, they want $500 to be like, your
Right,
cancer is serum, here's the
exactly.
ivermectin. That's not how
But
this works.
I think a big thing is it's not a lot of times delusion doesn't come from anybody else. It comes from you. Like for me, a lot of times I will delusion myself into believing that it's not working out. And I have to call and be like, hey, this, that, and the third. And then, my friends will be like, hey girl, this is working out. This is working out.
Everything is okay. You are okay. Like,
So
yeah.
Virgos, y'all might be safe here. Okay? We might be safe here. Logically, it doesn't make sense. No, but a lot of times, if delusion is hitting you, and
I feel like you're going to feel the anxiety of that. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Because
It does feel
The
anxious.
anxiety versus the ground.
yeah,
right, delusions, all of the anxiety is
And that goes
very
with your partners too. It's so funny how those things play hand in hand. If that right
100%.
person, it's this calm. I mean, you're gonna get your butterflies, but it's the same thing here. Delusion.
But they're the
Even
same
back
person.
to our last
Yeah.
episode, when you do deity work or you do any kind of spiritual work, something you'll learn with that attunement is like anything that is actually good and meant for you is never going to make you feel, it's not going to wake you up in the middle of the night in like a scary burst unless it's something that's life-saving.
Yeah.
It's always going to be, hey, this is when you're connecting
Or a
with
literal
the-
mess. I mean, sometimes you
Yes.
get those messages in the
But
night.
you can
I'm
even
saying,
set
that's
like
different.
boundaries with that, or it's not like abrasive. It's in a dream. It's something or people or things that don't have your best interest, yeah, they're gonna bring
What
up
I
that
like to
anxiety
say
for
is
sure.
intuition is calm,
Mhm.
and anxiety is
It's all
loud.
knowing. Yeah.
Anxiety is
Very
loud.
true.
Very loud.
And don't get me wrong, when you're in tune, when you're working with your people, yeah, they can be loud, but there's a
Sure.
very big difference between hearing your person, hearing your people, your deities, whatever it is that you're working with, and letting that run your
Mhm.
life. Because once it takes over and there's no boundaries, there's no, I would say, like,
Definitely.
there's no clear lines drawn in the sand between you and that. I feel like that's where you can run into the psychosis territory, the delusions, the
Yeah. I think a
all
big
of it.
part of this, and it may not be related, but something that came to mind, get in touch with, like, get in tune with your senses, because
Definitely.
just like when my spidey senses, for
Mhm.
example, are tingling, like maybe something's amiss,
Oh, yeah.
you have those feelings. You get, your skin starting to crawl. You
Oh,
feel
literally, though. Like,
Everybody has that.
I feel like
It's just whether you're in
it
tune
just
with your
depends on
body enough to
different.
recognize it or
so
not. Absolutely.
recognize that, when you're in a safe environment, feel how you feel
Mhm.
when you're not, hopefully you're not in, unsafe environment. But if you come across those, just remember how you're feeling. Get in line with your senses.
No, I agree 100%. And I
And
think
sorry,
that's a big,
my
no,
bad.
I'm saying that I think
No,
that's a big difference.
it is, but I just what she was saying, like if you're in tune with your body, I think even when you're not in tune with your body, fight or flight, like your body is instinctual in
Yes.
It's
some
built into there.
things.
It is
In
Nature.
some
built
things,
into
it is
there.
yes,
And when you
it's
become a mother, it is like,
Yeah.
evolutionary.
Yep.
like, oh, something
Yeah,
something happens.
evolutionary. Yeah,
Oh my gosh. I think the I think that's what we're talking about is the middle ground of that is because, like, even when we're not grounded, when we're not level, you were just talking about it, it's instinctual. It's something that is built into all of us. Your nervous system is literally designed to recognize that
Yep.
feeling.
Yep.
And, I feel like that's one of the biggest baby witch or whatever you're saying, like even spirituality, like all of that. I feel like that's the biggest step to start with is listening to yourself.
That was a good thought.
Oh, it was a good one. That sounded satisfying.
Mhm.
Because I feel like so much of our lives have been taught to not listen to that side of ourselves, and
Mhm.
trust an external source for
Yeah.
that kind of guidance and
Or you'll
everything
say
like that.
something's amiss, and they're like, "No, everything's fine." Like, kind of
But
shift. Yeah. Yeah.
it was 100% whenever I found out about Dominic's put Jaeger thing, it was just the certainty I had in my stomach. It wasn't even, I mean, like, it made me upset because at the time, people were trying to downplay it. And I understood why, you know what I'm saying? Like, because the diagnosis is obviously scary and it means a lot of stuff in the future. And you want to think everything is going to be okay. And I can appreciate that. But when I was talking to the doctor about it and, we were setting up all the tests and everything for it, I knew. I knew as soon as I got the phone call, I knew what it was going to be. And it sucks, but it's like one of those moments you're like, damn it. Damn it, I was right. And there's other things, when it comes to people in my life and stuff where I have fought what I knew to be true and then ended up getting kicked in the ass for it later.
I think in our community, um, it is easy to go into delusions and things like that. Case in point today. Um, I had deluded myself, I guess you could say, that my daughter was going to make this team. And it wasn't because I necessarily did some spells or anything like that. It was purely on her talent. I thought she did amazing.
That's what she
Um,
She
did.
did.
she actually really did. But she didn't make the team. She did not make the team. And in that moment, instead of being like, "Oh, no, the forces are against me," or anything like that. It's really which is really easy to do. Um, having great friends, but also meeting me, "You know what? Alright, cool. That means that something else better is supposed to happen."
Mhm.
So it doesn't just because something doesn't work out and you're like, "Oh, no, this means the universe is against me," or "This means that, this means this." It does not mean necessarily that there isn't better out there. And so all with your delusions, don't let them bring you down in a sense of, make you go crazy, but also don't let it stop you from trying.
Mm.
Like, don't let it stop you from
Mm.
going forth.
Retweet, retweet, tweet.
No, I 100%. And I think,
Sorry, it took me a while to get to that.
well,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no, no. But I think that circles back into like staying grounded and knowing and trusting that you are exactly where you need to be in certain situations. And while we don't have the answer of why things have happened in the order that they have happened, you kind of have to trust the process and know in your gut that things are going to work out because you are divinely protected. Charlie is divinely protected. Like, we have so much working for us that we don't even understand half of the things that are behind the scenes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I think that's kind of the beauty of things. I feel like, oh, he drools.
He drooled. I didn't know
He
cats did that.
drools so bad. Look at his he is the happy,
I was
happy
scratching his chin.
baby.
Sorry, I was like,
He's so babe.
I was so confused.
He's getting his auntie lemon in right now.
Oh yes.
He's been a cuddle bug today. He was a total little cuddle bug earlier too.
Good.
But back what we were saying, like it's staying
Yeah.
grounded, it's staying rooted in knowing that you yourself will always have things work out for you. And trusting that process and trusting that. And, we poo-poo a little bit of Delulu, but I feel like that does kind of help move forward in that thought process because we're retraining our brains with a lot of the negative mindsets that we were kind of brought up with. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I was like not born into, but brought up with, because
They used to mess me up. Like,
they
if something
still
bad
do.
happened,
Yeah.
or
They still
if something
do.
bad happened, I was 100% sure I was being punished.
Mm.
Oh,
100%. And
I had to really work
honestly,
on
it
that.
was just because I was speeding, and that's why I got the ticket.
We have to take responsibility
Yeah,
for ourselves
kinda.
sometimes. It does.
Yeah.
Accountability happens.
Yeah.
You know, I also want to touch on like whenever we're doing because I kind of find myself have these struggles too sometimes, like in readings and stuff when we're doing whether it be I can't think of it, like a pendulum or tarot readings or anything like that. Sometimes the message doesn't make sense at the time, and then later it clicks what it was actually referring to. But I feel like, when it doesn't make sense, put it away
Yeah.
at the time because I feel like we often get really frustrated when um things are not making sense at the time either and you're already looking for answers and things are not. I feel like in those moments, put it away. Put it away. Understand that maybe in this moment this is not what we touch because our energy isn't right. Get yourself regrounded. Come back later. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Ava,
yeah,
come with whatever.
try again. You know what I'm saying?
those used to have
Come
me in a
back
chokehold, too.
later.
Ugh.
Like and sometimes, like
Married like 3 times over based on that.
Ask again later. Yeah.
ask again later. It's like the SpongeBob thing. No. Can I have food?
Can I have a cracker?
No.
No.
And it feels like that sometimes, especially when we are, high and not in a heightened emotional level, but even in a heightened state where we're desperately searching and
Yes,
looking
I
for
mean, you're just
stuff that
vulnerable.
vulnerable moments and we don't always get a clear message because think about it when you're also in a high stress situation your brain's not thinking clearly your body's not thinking clearly you're worried about survival in that moment and there's plenty of other stuff that we have talked about in other episodes about how to reground yourself and place yourself back into your body. Jade, you really talk a lot about this in a great way is the somatic therapy that you go through. And I feel like that is such a beautiful practice of putting yourself back into your body. And it's such a simple way to without a lot of thought to it. You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying?
I feel like it's even you'll see it across like other cultures too and not even realize it. Different ways they tap or touch. It's just so interesting. Like humans are so interesting in the way that
Oh my
we do
gosh,
things
yes.
without even realizing evolutionary. But I love somatic therapy because that does tie into even spiritual stuff or even
Yes.
down to like getting a massage in your muscles, like
Mhm.
all of that interlinks. So when you are
100%.
even just doing this when you're stressed up here on your chest, that's getting everything within it to calm.
Started
It's crazy, yeah.
tapping my legs and tapping my chest, like,
And
whatever
then
I feel.
even learning your for all your what are they called? Your chakras.
Mhm.
Learning how to interact with those too. It's crazy how even in science that's been proven to help with grounding and
Oh,
things
yeah.
like that. Because you got to think for complex, therapy or PTSD or people that have been to war. There's so many things that you have to do to reteach your nervous system how to
Well,
function. So, and even just for the everyday person, it's hard to be in your body. I feel like
it
the
is.
world we live in is very fast.
And I feel like a lot of people kind of forget that spirituality should make you feel more grounded,
Yes,
not less.
it should
Like,
be a
if this
safe
is making
place.
you more anxious to
Also,
battle
even
in, like,
religion should feel like
yeah,
that.
any
It
kind,
should
any
feel
kind. And I'm not,
safe.
I'm not talking about just exclusively
Whoever you
witchcraft.
Yeah.
talk to.
Whoever you
Yes.
speak to,
It's
if
supposed to be the place you go to when you're just gonna
yes.
be yourself at the very,
And I think that's
core.
what a lot of people struggle with, is letting go of something that you would be familiar with, because the familiarity is the thing that keeps us there.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like,
Definitely.
keeps us with the known instead of stepping into unknown areas in our life. Especially if you're the first person in your family to even have thoughts of stepping outside of whatever religion you've been raised with. So, it really, in any of your movements, whatever religion that you're moving with, or even if there is no religion, if that's your whole thing of just stepping away from everything, that's fine too. But you need to be grounded in your decision. It needs
Same.
to feel like you're stepping into a comfort zone. And even if it feels a little unknown as you're getting settled into it, as you're deconstructing um certain expectations and mentalities that were placed on you. It's almost like mental blockages
Mhm.
that were instilled into our brains. Like, what have I been seeing lately? Don't let, like, the unknown, oh man, what
Keep
was it? It was something about talking about just because you don't understand it doesn't mean that it isn't real.
Mhm.
Um or it was something like that, but it was they use the word unknown. It was talking about some kind of like scientific thing. And I was like, just because you don't understand it
Yeah.
doesn't make it any less
Real.
true or
Yeah.
real,
I mean,
you know? And that goes with every
science
religion.
before we figured out the backing, it just seemed like magic, and then we figured out,
Exactly. Like,
this is how this works
oh,
through nature.
yes, yes.
Because that's all it is. It's all through nature.
Well, and that's the thing.
The fact that we can pull oil out of the earth and run cars off of it, that's nature. That used,
The
I
fact
mean,
that we can go to
yeah.
the moon.
The
Yeah,
fact
it
that
was
we went
nature.
to
Like
the
that's
freaking moon and
yeah.
back is wild, and it all went on, what
We're very capable beings, but we're also, I think the world's also been set up to make us not feel
limit
as
our
in
beliefs.
tune. Yeah.
Mhm.
The way everything's set up, it's harder to have community. It's
Well,
harder to
we
figure
are
out
our
who
own
you want
limiting
to be.
beliefs sometimes,
Definitely.
I feel like that's 90% of my daily fight is fighting my limiting beliefs. Like, well, what do you mean I can't do there is never a point where I'm going to say I can't do this.
Yeah.
Maybe not at the moment.
I'm like,
No.
Maybe we'll delay it when I have more energy. I like to say not right now. I'm going to table this. I do not have the energy for this right now.
so I may
Um,
have a question that maybe y'all have as well. Back with like specifically deities and who you may work with. I know for some, specifically witches, or those practices that kind of combine chaos and work with people who are a little bit of chaos. Um, I know that can also feel, for lack of a better word, scary or loud or
yes.
intrusive. And so I think,
Well, I also feel like when you click into something that really resonates with you, it is kind of terrifying to have people
But
respond to you.
dare I say boundaries?
Yes.
We can start with you. It does
yeah,
not matter if that god is from ancient Greece or if it is your mama. Boundaries, you can send them with real life people, ghost people.
Mm.
It does not matter. It does not matter. If it's in your house, you don't like the energy, you can tell it to get out.
Oh,
So same
100%.
thing. If you're inviting this being in, you can
Whatever
be
it
like, listen,
is.
you don't get to scare the
but
crap
then
out of me.
how, right. And in this sense, like, how can you distinguish, or how can someone else distinguish um, a feeling versus delusion, an intuition versus delusion when that kind of chaos comes into play?
I feel like you have to be able to really understand your own spirit and what that feels like being in a room by yourself before you invite anything else into that room, if that makes sense. Because
You've
you
got
have
to
to
be
know.
comfortable in the chaos.
Well, also, like, don't just, you're not going to just call on the. What do you mean?
I think you should ask. Persephone. All right.
Oh, I
She
do have a way to ensure that you're talking to the right thing. But
go ahead.
no, so when you set up your altars and stuff, after I really recommend doing your research, not just calling up this god. You don't know this person. So if you're gonna knock on the door, know something about him. But using your altar candles or your altar, you can even come up, there are runes for them, but dedicate, like making sure when I light this, declaring it, this is specifically a one-way call between me and this, because I've even recently learned, even with all those wards, if you're just calling, like just guessing, and you don't already have an understanding of what your energy feels like, or maybe you haven't done
your
the
Bluetooth
work.
signal on, or your
Yeah.
your AirDrop on, and things
Yeah.
just randomly ping into your
You
house.
have
Like,
to
you
be
like
able to
this?
be like, no, I dedicated this to her. I know I've already researched this energy. Like I've slowly gotten to know her, because also, if you're calling out Persephone or Aphrodite or whoever, not just gonna. I feel like it's a kind of a slow bond, because if you just burst open that door, yeah, you're gonna be scared. I'd be scared if somebody walked in my house living war.
that I don't know.
Yeah,
That's a
but I
stranger.
mean, if you're calling on them and busting their
That's a
house like that,
stranger.
yeah, so it's full of boundaries. Like genuinely do
I
your
like the idea
research
of
and
that.
figure out how to talk to them, light the candle, and make sure that you're like, this is dedicated to this person, the full legal name. Like, I feel like that's been a really big something I learned that I've actually seen a lot of witches talk about, or just other people that were like, wow, that is helpful, because it makes you feel better too.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this is dedicated. But I also learned we can do the same thing with dedicating like stuffed animals for our deities to watch over our children with,
Oh, I
even though
like
maybe
that.
it's not their style. But you can be like, listen, my kid really loves Batman. Will you watch over his space and his dreams and his whatever? If you had a Christian God, you can say that too. That you buy the candle and you light it for them, whatever.
Whatever it is.
Whatever makes you feel good.
Yeah.
But we got to get more creative. All these limiting beliefs that other religions put on you, no. You say, this is for her.
So
You
what
make
were
sure
you
it's all
gonna
the
say
favorite
about
snacks.
What were you guys saying about Persephone?
No, I think what I said was ask, basically.
And you'll be able to tell. Same
And
thing. You're not going to get anxiety. It's going to be a different feeling.
yes, essentially. I know Morgan and I sometimes struggle a lot with Christianity. We're still,
We're bound still.
yeah.
I'm
And so
okay,
for
yeah.
me, in a lot of things, it's whoever you're talking to, ask them for clarity and ask them
For
in
clear
a
signs.
yeah, like I need something that's 100% like I can't miss it. Like it reminds me of that one thing where this thing said, um, it was that thing on TikTok basically where she was like, "Should I leave this man? And if I should, then you'll have a pink car with
Or
yellow
It was
writing."
very specific.
And it was like it's
and
a
it
pink
literally
car.
came by. Like,
Yes. And it is just like certain things like that. Like
Definitely.
they don't want you to be confused.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
They don't want you to be. They're here for you. And so they don't want you to be confused. They want you to have that relationship with them.
And
Again,
that's-
whatever deity you work.
Also,
That's
don't
so
be
funny
confused on who you're calling on.
But with regards
Don't just be like, whoever. You need to know who you're.
Well, yeah. Like I don't.
A lot of people make that mistake. So I was just
a
like, wait
lot
a
of
minute.
times, even if you're not doing it, universe. Like
Yes.
if you don't like, hey universe, this is what I need, or I'll just be saying it. Somebody needs to send me a sign.
you do.
Yeah, somebody needs to send me a clear sign.
I need
Okay.
to know who this is.
Yeah.
And you need to make
Exactly.
yourself known.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
but with Christianity ties, because I know, so Catholicism, right? Upbringing, some groups within the Christian tree, it's like God wanted you to suffer for a little bit so you can learn this lesson or so you can grow. I got beef with that mindset.
I do too.
I got beef
I do
with
too.
that mindset.
Because what do you mean?
People,
God gives
What do you mean?
his hardest.
Oh
his
yeah,
strongest.
his
I don't.
strongest warriors.
right?
Leave me out of this.
yeah.
I was 6. I'm not a warrior.
And then my favorite video on TikTok is the guy. My favorite video on TikTok is the guy with the crooked glasses. And he's like, "You can no, I don't want to do this shit no more. I'm so surprised. I'm fucking do it." Like that's 100%. Yeah, yeah. Just a baby, please. I don't want it.
The Kevin Hart stand up.
No, but literally.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel like in that same sense, it also leads you to understand that you need to build your community around you, because at some points it's they say Christianity, okay? He doesn't want you to be the strongest soldier. He wants you to reach out to your community. And all my beautiful goddess deities, like they work tandem and tandem. They work hand in hand. And like hey, you know what? You know, Hecate and Persephone and even Aphrodite, they be like, "Hey girl, we're gonna have to we're gonna snap out of this, okay?" And so I think
program.
like you really have to take a step back in the quote unquote delusions and try to see what you're missing from the situation. But I also want to say this is not something that you have to do alone. There's therapy out there. Okay. When you really can't, like you're seriously like,
The fuck is going
yeah. Go talk to somebody. Please. Like I truly believe that therapy was made for a reason. Yeah, you could talk to your girls, you could talk
All I
to
can hear is the Michael Jordan thing. Please get some help. Because my children say that to me. Get some help.
And then if you are like, I don't know why it popped in my head. One of the episodes of Criminal Minds, his dad was just so in his delusions with his children and locked in the house. In those situations, don't let other people's delusions become yours.
Yes.
I think that one of the things that I'm trying to really work on within myself is to figure out what I believe and what is going to steer me and what helps me feel good, and the lessons that I need to learn. And it's not to say that she can't teach me or they can't teach me, and that I can't get information from them, but at the same time,
You're finding your own voice.
yes. And I give props to my mom. She is very much Christian, but one of the things I guess that she continues to ask me, even though she's probably not asking me in the way that I'm taking it, is, "Are you sure this is something you believe in and not everybody else around you?"
Oh, my mother.
Yeah. And so she might not be asking in the way that is actually trying to be helpful, but that's how I'm gonna take it. And so I do step back and try
The
to
way
have those
I
thoughts.
approached that with my mom is I've kind of played an Uno reverse card on her. And I said, while I understand, you know, in the past, a lot of the time, especially with ADHD and neurodivergency, there is a lot of mimicry and there's a lot of like want for community. But like I told her, I said the difference between this being a delusion and this being real is that I feel the same way you do about your community and church. This resonates with me. This gave me a feeling of peace that I have only ever found outside of the church.
And at the end of the day, most people can't find that in their entire lives.
Exactly.
And they search.
And that's why
So
I
it's like
say
nobody gets to tell you what your piece is.
I never want to poo-poo my parents' relationships that they have with Catholicism, with God, on their beliefs, because it truly brings them a level of peace that you know,
Yeah.
I respect and sometimes I envy because of their certainty. They are so certain that there is literally no room for anything else. And it's been very hard for them to kind of digest some of the things that I talk about, but they have always known that there's been a line that I walk between. I have always had a touch on the other side. And I
And
think
to
that's
even say
something.
that, I envy it, but it also upsets me because I love how you know that, like my parents. I love how you know this,
Mhm.
but at the same time, I'm never going to belittle or take away somebody else's
Oh, exactly.
path.
Mhm.
Because one of my questions as a kid, and it's nobody's still been able to answer it, is okay, I don't think it's fair that people on an island in the middle of the ocean who don't know Jesus, like, how are they supposed to get to heaven? Like, they just get crossed off the list just because, like,
No, I'm sorry. You didn't have
right.
Wi-Fi?
Yeah,
Like,
the answer that I was given was, well, it'll find no, no,
no.
no, 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 no. It's not.
And
That's
you're
not how it
telling me
works.
that all the other religions are going to hell because they believe differently? No,
Correct.
I don't believe
Especially
that either.
when they all have adopted
Especially
the same ideologies. Every single one. Every single one.
You're all saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Most
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
hopefully.
Same
What
place.
is that
Just
called?
like
Omnivism? Omnivism? It's the
Something like
idea
that.
that it's all like it's all
Omni
gonna
means
be
all. So you know what I mean?
we're all
Something like
like it's
that.
all separate gods, but in the end it's gonna be all the same thing. We're just all
I
calling
just
it
want you to
something
know it's a
different.
woman.
The experience.
man.
Period.
It's 100% a woman.
I'm always so like,
But you know what I
Yeah.
thought is really funny? Easter, Lord have mercy, has been kind of hard because I
Yes,
love my
Nora.
family. I love my family, but this road that I'm on has been tough, I believe, for my mom and my dad. I do believe it's tough, and
It's been a hard
it-
pill for my parents as well.
yeah. But I think it's so funny because even when it's a tough road, videos will pop up, and there was one on TikTok. I don't think I ever shared it, but it was talking about God as a child. Like, we always talk about, like, when he started.
Jesus as a child
Yeah.
and how he was like a menace and stuff, like
he was
cursing
out here
people.
cursing people.
flipping
and
tables.
yes, and he was like, "Don't come at me when I am." You know what I'm
The
saying?
Messiah.
Yeah, right.
Like,
If
I'm
my
Jesus.
4-year-old knew he was the Messiah, it would be over.
Yes.
Sometimes my kids do.
And
Like,
you know
what
what?
do you mean?
If I were married, I'm like, oh, you're the Messiah? Oh, really? Oh, now the Messiah knows what a sandal feels like.
La Chancla lives everywhere.
The original noise.
Yes, but no, I just, in those moments, remember that all of this started somewhere. You know,
100%.
all
And
of
whatever
this-
that means to
Each
you.
Yeah.
human has their own theory on it, huh?
Yeah. So again,
You know
it's
what? We're
about
all talking
peace.
about what it is, but we're not denying that it's something.
Yeah,
That's all I gotta say
Yeah.
about
I'm just saying. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
because the fact that you can really go out of space and go around the moon, and I don't and then
Artemis.
you have to poop on a weird toilet.
Apparently with assistance.
Yeah,
that. I just can't even grasp that
With
it's like
assistance?
there's a whole
Oh.
galaxy outside.
Right?
That kind of makes me
Yes.
short circuit. I'm like, that's none of my
Yes.
business.
Or that the moon is
I actually
all
get kind
gray.
of overwhelmed when
Yeah,
I really
I'm
look
like,
into it too much. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
that's
Okay. How did I get stuck here?
I
That's
feel
really what I
real
want to know.
small.
Well, like we
Like,
could
how
be
did I?
here. We
Yeah,
could be on any planet.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
You put
yeah.
me here.
I don't know. It could be where I've read some weird books. It could be worse.
I love their outlook on it. It's like so
Planet Barbarians?
far away from it.
Did you read my diary?
Huh?
It's like
Anyway.
Earth is their own, our
Oh,
own shit.
oh, I love
absolutely.
that because when we are kind of
Well, she gives
technically
us
moving
everything
through
we
space.
need.
Well, I don't like our
And we-
driver over here. Okay,
Mhm.
so
Your Uber driver, get in.
Two those stars. I'm done.
I am 100% sure shooting stars I see are drive-bys. Like, no,
It's
no, not that place. There's a wrong kind of
saying.
thing.
There's a
You know,
traffic ban.
let's get all over there.
There is a travel
going.
ban.
We get gas at the
You don't get
tunnel
back over there,
shit.
okay?
It's like the freaking moms are like, see kids, you want to go here? See, you want to go,
Yes,
get over
yes,
there.
yes.
You better behave. I'm
Nah.
gonna drop you off. I'm gonna drop you off right here. Do you see that orange man? He's very scary. Very scary. He touches little people.
The alien children.
Really? Yeah. But I was mimicking like aliens.
No. I was like, that's not funny, but that is
That is
hilarious.
It's so funny.
Oh, but it is.
Nobody else can get that. But yeah. So delusion versus reality. Also, my last relationship that I thought I was going to be in forever. He had a problem with my path. And it was so funny because at one point he said to me, "How do you know the voices in your head aren't demons or is it Satan?" And I just knew it. Okay. Like, I can't explain, like like trying to explain that. And when I say voices in my head, like, that's
I'd be like, okay, so is it you or a stupid fucking idiot that's talking in your head? Like, I think I know what I sound like.
Yeah, but it's like nothing. A
I'm
lot
like,
of
did you even say
times,
something mean? There's so many mean things you could have said.
yeah.
So many.
But like, I think a big thing for me is that, again, it's peaceful,
Mm.
and anything that my deities, my council, that they're talking to me about, it's for my highest good.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever is pushing the button and they're saying, hey, this is the way we're going to do it, or we're going to do this, or I need you to look at it this way, or whatever. Hey, you need to call Natalie, or you need to call Jade, because whatever, and you need to call Morgan. Like, call all these people, like, whatever the case may be, it's for my highest good in that moment.
No,
And then I also
I
want to
agree.
say that some delusions, Virgos, um when they tell us what they have to tell us, you got to take it for face value, okay?
I don't want
You do. Because I am the type, I'll keep pulling cards until y'all tell me what I want, okay? And they don't,
No.
but
They're just
then,
like, LOL, no again.
yeah, they don't. But then,
They go like, baby, and you pull the knife, so like, still no.
yeah. No, like that. What you? Oh, you almost got it.
We were over at a friend's house
Mine.
the other night on Friday, and
I'm
she
just
was
pulling.
doing
I'm
card
just-
after card after card, and literally trying to get the kids out of the house, everything like that, and packing things up. There's one card left on the table, and it was finally like a little sweet message, be like, "All right, I guess this is everything's gonna be okay. I guess this is what you wanted to hear, right?" I had packed up everything. Literally, I'd put the tarot cards up, all that stuff, and I know I'd put everything up. There was one card left on the table, and I can't remember what it was. We should have taken a picture of it. But it was basically like everything's going to be okay. You've got a new path that's beginning, and you're going to be like loved, and like financial success and stuff like that was specifically on the card. And I wish I could remember. I want to say it was a pentacle, something like that. But anyway, all that being said, it was really funny because the other cards were, just
and they weren't horrible.
they weren't horrible,
like
but they were just very direct.
Yeah, my spread was really good. Like, hey, this is where you are. This is, but this is where we're going to end up. But what I wanted them to say was like, should I keep trying? Like in this certain situation. And they were like, hey, all we saying is slow down. Okay, I got you. But slow down here? Or like, should I
Where?
slow down on another road?
Grab the
And
wall, wiggle.
I got
gonna
the same all the time. And so that is my delusion. That's where she says, hey, give me the deck. And she looks at me straight in my eyeballs after she pulls cards, and she's like, do you want to hear what they're really saying? Which is basically what they were telling me anyway. But
sometimes you just have to hear it in a different voice, because sometimes
because
it is hard to digest it. It is hard to digest when some things are not always going to go the way your brain thought they were going to. And it's a tough pill to follow. But if you've got good people, if you've got good community surrounding you, you won't have people
This was
feeding.
underarm here. I was like, Natalie, we have got to get that under control,
Absolutely
girlfriend.
not. It's very pumped
No,
up.
like,
No, I want purple.
I was like, where
I want purple right here.
Let her live.
provocative? No. It keeps the people going. No. Okay, put that away.
Dun, 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 dun.
I got 5 minutes left.
Yes.
No, actually, we're at the end here, so it's actually perfect. All that being said, we've talked about a lot of stuff today, but really and truly, like,
You got this.
you have this, and even if you don't feel like you have a community that you can rely on, it will find you. And that's the other thing that a lot of people forget. To your heart, you will understand. Listen, we had our training as we listen to our Disneys, okay? We had our training, and then
No,
they tried to tell us we
no.
were wrong.
No, because every single woman got a man, and they were not.
Well, that's
like,
true.
as y'all see, that's my play in life. right
Listen,
now.
maybe we go with
Coco,
some
I'm
newer
s-
aging
s-
stuff. Kokomo's right there.
Disney did us, but it's not. Here nor there. 'Cause that's not
It's
even real
another
stuff.
episode. To
Okay,
talk
can we
about.
just say we got our whimsy from them? How about
Yes,
that?
yes.
We got our whimsy from them, but we got our brains somewhere else. We've got those. All right, well, you guys, I think this is great. I think we got everything that we were going to talk about. I think the next episode, because it's kind of like leads and tacks on from that. So we're going to talk about like narcissists and dark empaths and fake friends.
Ooh, let's do some
Ooh.
feeders to energy eaters.
Ooh.
Energy
I've had a few of
vampires.
those.
Anyway, okay, bye.